Hello, fellow basement dwellers. In today's video, we will be talking about how would the vita carnis species survive and interact on the planet of Pandora. Now, simply put, I'm going to be going over all the different vita carnis species, but one thing I do want to clarify. Obviously, in the last episode of vita carnis, spoilers, we get a lot more of the like the eldritch side of vita carnis flushed out. This video won't really be too concerned with the, the orbs, the more like eldritch side of vita carnis. It's gonna be more the biological side of vita carnis. Alright, let's get into it. First and foremost, the crawl. The crawl are going to have such a fantastic time on this planet. First and foremost, spreading. There was no part of the moon of Pandora that the crawl could not inhabit. And also, they would get there, a single crawl vine would spread all across the planet in a very short amount of time. The reason I say that is A, Pandora is smaller than Earth, and B, it is much, 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 much more nature-packed. The megafauna, the regular animals, the trees, it's all much, much more densely packed. And the thing is with the vita carnis vines, they're made out of meat, but they can also photosynthesize, but also they consume other meat and like decaying plant matter. And they themselves can be eaten by predators and will eventually rot and decay and will act as really high-quality fertilizer, fueling Pandora's ecosystem even more. It's the same thing on Earth. On Earth, when we see the vita carnis, they pretty much talk about the same thing. The same thing here is going to happen, but like 10 times more. Meaning, pretty much every single giant tree in Pandora will be covered in vines. Not like covered in a way where it kills the trees, but will just be packed with it. Meaning that the actual vita carnis creatures that the vines, spawn out, there's going to be a lot more of them. Everything that comes from the vines, there's going to be a lot more of them. We're talking about, there's going to be a lot more trimmings, there's going to be a lot more meat snakes, there's going to be a lot more mimics, there's going to be a lot more everything, right? And the vines will cover every single part of the planet because they can survive basically any climate. Now, first and foremost, the religion aspect of this. Now, the religion aspect is a huge part of this because the Na'vi obviously worship nature. They consider every one of Awa's creatures, they consider every plant and every organism and every rock on the planet of Pandora to be a part of Awa. Now, what actually is Awa on a scientific level? Awa is not a god. It is not magical. It is not divine. Awa is one of the most interesting and coolest concepts for an alien in fiction. And that's because it's entirely scientific based, and it is just such a cool concept. So, what is Awa? Awa is essentially a mushroom. So, there was a thing known as mycelium. Mycelium is essentially mushroom tentacle things that go into the ground and can communicate with other mushrooms and trees. Now, we see in real life Earth, there are multiple football fields worth of mycelium networks that are all a single mycelium network. So, a single mycelium network can be multiple football fields large in length and in width. And if a tree gets sick in the forest, it will take nutrients from the other trees and from itself and give it to the mushroom and give it to that tree because it knows, hey, if this tree dies, that's gonna help me. Awa is a planetary wide mycelium network that is infinitely more intertwined with nature than real life mycelium networks, and also has true consciousness and intelligence, possibly exceeding that of humans. That is such a fucking cool concept for an alien. Like straight up, that is such a cool concept. So, it can also, there is the whole, communication thing. I've told people about that, it's scientifically based, and they've been like, no, but the Na'vi can talk to it, clearly it's magic. No, it's not. Basically, everything special about you, every memory, everything about you is basically electricity. There are teensy tiny bits of electricity flashing within your brain, and every time you think, every memory, every time you make a decision, it is just teensy tiny bits of this very complicated electricity. How could a separate organism A separate organism similar to Awa could just evolve to do one of two things: to either transfer your consciousness into it, meaning that little bit of electricity in your noggin just gets transferred to Awa, or Awa is just kind of fucking lying to the Na'vi, and when the ancestors die, it just kind of mimics back, you know, basically like ChatGPT. Awa will just take in the information of your dead ancestors and then will kind of spit information back at you and like kind of fake talk to you. Either one of those is possible, right? So no, not magic. Vita Coinus straight up is magic, like straight up, right? Obviously there's like the eldritch stuff with the orbs, but again, this is more so the biology side. Next up, trimmings. Trimmings are basically skinned raccoons, and I genuinely mean this when I say this. Trimmings are the bottom of the barrel, like vermin in the Vita Coinus oath. Cats, dogs, basically anything with teeth will kill and eat trimmings. What the fuck are trimmings supposed to do on Pandora? Now, genuinely, the only reason why trimmings don't go extinct in 5 minutes is 2 reasons. First of all, there's gonna be like a million of them. The trimmings are a pest. There are so many trimmings on all planet. Genuinely, when I say this, even though Pandora is smaller than Earth, there are gonna be like 5 times, if not more, Vita Coinus species in a small area. So let's think more like 7, 6 times, like 8 times more creatures per square mile, right? Because of the sheer amount of meat vines. So trimmings, obviously, a little knob will form on the meat vines, and that little knob will fall off and turn into a trimming. Given just the sheer amount of biodiversity and density, there's going to be infinitely more meat vines, meaning infinitely more trimmings. So even though trimmings will be born and literally just be picked off by a random predator like instantly, there's always going to be more trimmings, because there's nothing on Pandora that can stop the meat vines. Like, genuinely nothing can stop the meat vines. Like, they're just being put into such a beautiful environment for them. So trimmings aren't really going to be doing too well, but yeah. Oh, also, I touched on the religion aspect. A huge reason I touched on the religion aspect is how Awa will communicate with the Na'vi about the Vita Coinus. So, obviously, there's a lot of eldritch shit involving the Vita Coinus, right? Let's just say the Vita Coinus just kind of shows up, and that's just kind of that. Awa's not going to be happy with that, because now she has a competing organism on her own planet. So I imagine she will be telling the Na'vi, hey, yo, kill these things on sight. Or probably not even that, because that's going to be too tall and order. Awa is incredibly intelligent, and she didn't immediately just tell the Na'vi, hey, yo, go kill all the humans when the humans showed up. So I feel like Awa might be like, hey, yo, you know, go kill mimics, or go kill, like, harvest, like, go kill the dangerous things, but nothing you can really do to stop it. You know what I mean? More just, like, coexist and kill if you see it. Alright, next up, meat snakes. Meat snakes are going to have a very good time because there's just so much to eat here. Problem is, though, is again, so many predators. So, like, the majority of meat snakes will be killed very quickly, but there will be some. Okay, so we see a meat snake become absolutely massive after World War II because it just kind of hid in a tunnel and just engorged itself until it became black, and, until the black... Okay, so anytime... And we see this with elder mimics as well. If a Vita Coinus creature becomes, like, darker, like its skin becomes darker, it just kind of becomes stronger, just kind of gets upgraded. So I could maybe see some areas, like these meat snakes, becoming stronger. And in the last episode of Vita Coinus, finale season 2, we do see 2 absolutely massive meat snakes burrowing in the ground. So we could get things like that. 1 or 2 meat snakes surviving them become massive kaiju-esque creatures, but... regardless of that, 99% of meat snakes will be wiped out, and the ones that don't get wiped out aren't that big of a threat because they're just eating corpses. Next up, mimics. Okay, so mimics are born as small, fragile little creatures. Then they eat enough, and they essentially go into a flesh cocoon, and they come out, a big boy mimic that can only eat human flesh. Now, for this video, 2 things on this video, right? First thing, I will be swapping out human flesh for Na'vi flesh, because if we don't do that, then that's a boring-ass video. Second thing, I will be assuming that all the Vita Coinus creatures can breathe the air on Pandora. Why? Because if they can't breathe the air on Pandora, that's a boring-ass video. Okay, so if mimics So here's the thing. The majority of mimics, again, will be taken out before they even can cocoon themselves, or will be taken out while they're cocooned. But let's just talk about the mimics that, are actually born. Or, actually, properly, mature in the, grown mimics. After they're in, the grown stage, where they're, fully matured, they're still so fucked. The mimics are so fucked. So, mimics can only survive with human flesh. If they don't have human flesh, or Na'vi flesh in this strain, they will just starve to death in a few months. There are so few Na'vi, you'll have 100-mile area with 300 dudes max. Because a Na'vi tribes are few and far between, and they're only a few hundred. And I'm gonna be honest, the average Na'vi warrior is beating the fuck out of a mimic. Now, we do see mimics no death and very easily overpower, regular humans. Thing is, though, Na'vi are 3 times stronger than a regular human. Now, so an average Na'vi is, a world's strongest man competitor, or he's almost there. Meanwhile, I think it could be argued that mimics might be world's strongest man level, or they are above world's strongest man. A huge part of, how they hunt is obviously surprise. So, I feel in terms of strength, let's just call it even. Na'vi have better senses than humans, are stronger than humans, and are warriors. These guys fight all the time. They will settle arguments in their tribe by beating the shit out of each other. Not to mention, so in terms of so these guys know how to fight. Na'vi know how to fight. They know how to throw down, unlike mimics that just kind of brute force their way through. So in an unarmed hand-to-hand fight, there's a good shot a regular-ass mimic is losing a fight to a Na'vi warrior. And that's ignoring the fact that Na'vi warriors have weapons. They're a Stone Age society. That's fantastic. 10-foot tall, fucking blue alien warrior, fucking Spartan, throwing a spear, piercing a mimic directly through the chest. That's still gonna kill mimic. It doesn't fucking matter. That's Stone Age. If it's slicing through, it's slicing through. Not to mention they have sharp obsidian-style knives. A Na'vi with a knife is beating the fuck out of a mimic, unless the mimic jumps him. But even then, mimics do well on Earth for a number of reasons. First and foremost, most humans ain't shit, right? Most humans aren't in the gym, most humans don't have any military training, most humans aren't warriors, right? Especially in the modern era. First of all, flat out, Na'vi are 3 times stronger than humans, so right off the bat, they can't really just brute force. On top of that, there's no soft populations in Na'vi. Pandora is a shithole. It is such a terrifying shithole. But you know what that means? It means the people there are fucking strong as shit. Every fucking Na'vi, man, woman, fucking whatever, is a warrior. There's no soft population. There's no 90-year-old woman living by herself. There's no, random-ass dude who fucking survives off Taco Bell and hasn't, has fucking soft hands. There's no weak populations on Pandora. And on top of that, the Pandora tribes live really fucking close to one another. No shit they do, because there's worse stuff than mimics out there. There was infinitely worse on Pandora than mimics out there. So no shit, they lived very tightly together. So what's gonna happen is a mimic is gonna try to kill a Na'vi warrior. It's gonna lose that fucking 1v1 9 times out of 10. And that's if it's a 1v1. Na'vi warriors tend to hunt together. Well, not always. It kind of depends on tribe. We do see them hunting individually. But, a single Na'vi gets taken out by a mimic or two. Let's just say vita carnis shows up. It takes over the whole fucking planet in less than a decade. 1 or 2 Na'vi go missing. Congratulations. You can no longer hunt alone. The chief says, swiggity, no more hunting alone. Hunt in pairs. Now, anytime a mimic tries to do shit against a hunter or a warrior, it's getting fucking jumped. So what happens if a mimic tries to go after a soft target, like a fucking baby, or a fucking old person or something? You mean it's gonna go to the tribe with 300 warriors? Even if 100 of them are kids, all it takes is a couple. It truly would take 1 or 2 warriors to kill basically any mimic. So most mimics, and not to mention, that's if the mimics can even find the village, because the villages are so spread out. Right? They're so spread out. It's I live in the woods, right? I live in the woods. I would be a prime mimic target. Well, not prime mimic target, because I know how to fight a little bit. I lift weights a little bit, but that's not gonna do shit against me. That's still 3 times stronger than me. I would be a good mimic target. My family would be a good mimic target because we live in the fucking middle of nowhere. Imagine if there was like, if we were like all living right next to one another, mimics wouldn't be a problem. Like, okay, drop mimics in like medieval Europe where people have walled cities, and mimics are not an issue. The main reason why mimics are an issue is because they can go after soft targets or, individual humans that are living alone. The Na'vi don't have that issue. And again, most mimics will fucking starve to death before even finding a Na'vi. On top of that, right? The planet of Pandora is a terrifying shithole if you're Na'vi. If you're not Na'vi, there's essentially a target on your back saying, hey, yo, fucking kill him. We literally see that in the movies. That if you're not Na'vi, it's like the planet of Pandora acts as like all the different like creatures of Pandora basically act as like an immune system and will jump you. Like these massive horrific animals on Pandora will still kill Na'vi, but they will like jump you 10 times harder if you're not like from Pandora, like you're not part of Awa. So most mimics will be fucking spawned camp as babies. The few surviving mimics will be killed when they're in their cocoon, and the remaining mimics will fucking starve to death or get jumped by some of the creatures on Pandora. And what few mimics are able to encounter a Na'vi will lose the 1v1. If they win, then next time they'll lose the 2v1. And if they try to go after an old Na'vi or like a fucking baby, they're gonna get jumped, they're gonna get fucking chokeslammed by like the chieftain or something. So mimics are not going to be an issue for the Na'vi. The mimics are getting kind of diffed. Now, to be fair, there's 2 evolutionary paths for mimics if they actually have a consistent supply of food, which guess what? They don't fucking have due to everything I've just said. If they have a consistent supply of food over a long period of time, they'll become more humanoid. I imagine for this, they'll become more Na'vi. That could be an issue. Like, if they were to eat some mimic, like eat like a ton of Na'vi from one tribe, then go to another tribe. But even then, it's like they become more Na'vi. They still wouldn't have. They look more Na'vi, but they wouldn't have like the tail blade, so they'd know, hey, yo, something's wrong with this guy. And even then, the distance between those tribes is so long, and that's if they can even eat more than like one person without getting killed immediately. So yeah, mimics are not that big. Also, elder mimics though. Elder mimics, I don't think an elder mimic could take on a whole tribe of Na'vi. Like, I feel like a couple warriors jumping an elder mimic could take it on, but an elder mimic would genuinely be an issue and could kill a lot of Na'vi. The thing is, I don't see an elder mimic being created. I think that's very, very unlikely. Also, that's not to mention that, like, the warriors of basically every fucking dude on Na'vi has some sort of pet, like some sort of like mount that's some fucking death creature that could probably solo a mimic on its own. Like, we see the horse things on Pandora. Do you know how fucking dangerous a real life horse? Like, we'll talk, if a horse wants to kill you, it can just kill you no problem. Right? Like, never stand behind a horse. Then you have to remember that that's way fucking bigger than a horse because the Na'vi are like 10 feet tall. So that's not a horse, that's a fucking elephant. And the reason there's such fucking massive creatures on Pandora is due to lower gravity or whatever. So, and then again, the horses are like the nicest thing. The water Na'vi, the fucking ocean Na'vi, have the horrifying water creatures. The Na'vi also have these fucking sky dragons that could just come down from the heavens and just fucking pick a mimic up and drop it. They're dying. They pick a mimic up. They fly really high up. They fucking drop it on a rocks. That'd be funny as shit. Okay. All right. I'm sorry. No, mimics are not an issue. Next up, harvesters. Now, mimics might actually kill a few people. Right? Like, especially if it's just a thing that's in your environment. If the vita carnis is going to be incorporated, because it doesn't, even if AWA says, hey, yo, kill every vita carnis, the Na'vi in nature itself physically can't do it. Because can they kill the mimics? Can they kill all the creatures that the vines create? Yes, but they can't fully get rid of the vines. The vines will always be back. The thing is, though, mimics will still kill a few people every generation. You know, there's still a bit of an issue, right? Harvesters are genuinely doing jack shit. First of all, the Na'vi are fucking... First of all, the Na'vi are literally monkey chimpanzee people. These people climb a lot. And there's worse plants on Pandora. Like, there's automatically worse plants on Pandora. And the plants that are really bad they blend in. A harvester is this fucking big-ass meat orb that we literally see can be taken out by a single bullet. And people might say, oh, well, the Na'vi don't have bullets, so, maybe there'll be an issue. No, because they're climbing all the time. They're climbing everywhere. So a single warrior will see it, take a shot of an arrow, and kill it. Because if a single bullet can take it out, an arrow fired by someone 4 times stronger than a human with poison that can stop your heart in 1 minute, that's gonna one-shot a harvester. And even if it doesn't, so what? It takes like 5 arrows to kill a harvester. Harvesters are doing jack shit on Pandora. Now, to be fair, harvesters might, given how they, both attack your nervous system and also, stop your blood from clotting, they might kill a couple like random animals, like smaller animals, but they're doing jack shit. The megafauna on Pandora's skin is so thick that it's little claw, it's like little injectile things aren't gonna be able to pierce it. And even if it does take down an animal, one of those massive charging animals is just gonna stomp it and kill it while it dies as well. So harvesters aren't doing jack shit. Next up, the host. And the host might be an issue. So how the host works on Earth is someone will breathe in the spores, they'll get mind controlled after a day, and they'll go to the host and essentially let the host eat its organs, which kind of pisses me off. Like, I do understand that organ meat is the most nutritionally dense, but that is just such a waste of fuel. Like, humans actually taste like pork. Like, that kind of pisses me off when I see like an alien that says, oh, I'm only gonna eat. Okay, it pisses me off, right, that it's being so wasteful, right? Like, yes, organs are the most nutritionally dense, sure, but it still needs energy, it still needs calories, and there's still plenty of nutrition in the rest of the body. So if you're gonna kill somebody, can you at least eat all of them and not just the organs? That's so wasteful. And again, I'm not against organ meat. I don't personally like organ meat, but I get the appeal. It's very nutritionally dense, but it's so annoying. That's a human. Do you know how inefficient that is? Right? If you see 10 hikers go missing, then you're gonna be like, oh shit, there's gotta be a host nearby. But if you only see one hiker go missing, then it's inefficient and stupid, right? Okay, besides that, right? If you are able to stay a few days without getting noticed, if you're tied down or you're unable to get to the host, the issue then is you basically become its puppet and you'll try to get more people infected by the spores. The thing is, though, again, the Na'vi are so few and far between that the host won't be that much of an issue. On top of that, the host is one of the fewest spawning creatures in the vita carnis. It only really lives in North America out of the whole world. The entire fucking planet only lives in North America. And in North America, it's a very rare creature. There's not that many of them. But to be fair, let's just be nice and let's say it can go worldwide. But it still has, the density of the host. Well, even though, let's say, it's moon-wide on Pandora, there's still not that many of them because they're not very dense. They're not very densely populated. Even then, they're not going to be the biggest issue because, again, you're going to have Awa. If Awa finds out that one of her, minions got possessed by this other mushroom parasite, Awa is going to flip the fuck out. Awa is the top mushroom parasite on Pandora. She's not about to lose her rank as the top mushroom parasite. So she's gonna freak the fuck out and be like, yo, kill these things on sight. So let's say a host spawns in 50 miles away from any Na'vi, and it picks itself up, slowly walks over to a Na'vi village. Second it gets spotted, it's gonna be taken out from a long range with a bow. To be fair, it might infect a few Na'vi with the spores. That is a good point. It might infect a couple of them. I'm gonna be honest, I see those Na'vi getting exiled, I see those Na'vi getting killed, because Awa can fucking read your mind. That's the thing all of them do, is they connect their minds to them. If Awa detects, hey, yo, this guy's infected, you're literally connecting your mind to Awa. Awa's gonna be like, yo, what the fuck? And Awa's gonna be like, yo, guys, kill this guy, or something like that. So, I don't see that being the biggest issue. The only, real big issue I could see is if, the wind traders. Now, the wind traders are in the latest movie. Pretty much, they have, these giant balloon things that they can fly around on. Basically, these, giant zeppelins. and they essentially go around the tribes trading. Like, they'd buy some, smoked salted fish from the fish tribe, and they would, sell it to a different tribe in exchange for, some beef or something. That's basically their whole shtick. If they were to become fully under the host's influence, given that these guys don't have, like, a singular, like, connection point given that these guys don't have a singular connection point to Awa, that could be an issue. But again, they still do connect to Awa. Like, when they're over there, like, I imagine when they're over here, they connect to Awa. When they're over here, they connect to Awa. But again, they still connect to Awa infinitely less than every other tribe that do it basically every fucking day. So if a lot of them were to be infected, they could then cultivate it like we see with the flavor enhancer and essentially sell or give the flavor enhancer to other Na'vi. And because the Na'vi don't cook a lot of their stuff, or, they could be told, hey, I'll put this stuff on after you're done cooking. Sorry, the, mold spores can still, infect you. That could actually be a really fucking big issue. Problem though with the wind traders getting infected. I don't think they'd get infected. Right? First and foremost, the wind traders spend most of their, time way up in the sky, way above pretty much everything else. So they'll probably, if the spores are traveling, through the sky, they're probably physically above them, right? Secondly, when they do land, they typically land by, Na'vi villages, and we already established that if a host of influence goes anywhere nearby a tribe, it's gonna get jumped. So I don't really see these guys getting infected on a mass scale. Could it happen? Yes, but I think it's unlikely. Is it possible that one or two of them get infected? Yeah, but I mean, these guys still connect themselves to Awa. If there's, two dudes in your tribe who don't want to connect to Awa, that's fucking heresy. You're gonna be like, yo, what the fuck? And you're gonna do something about it. You're gonna kick him out of the tribe. You're gonna do something. But the host of influence, I think, the host of influence is still unlikely to do anything, but it still has a massive danger to it. If Awa can't detect the brain spores, then they might be cooked. If the brain spores can spread to... And again, we don't see people infected by the host of influence being able to infect other people outside of taking spores and, giving it to people. It's not like a zombie thing. You get bit by someone who's, has their mind altered, that's not really going to do anything. So, I don't think the host of influence will kill the Na'vi or, kill them all or anything. But I do see a lot more... I do see it being a much greater threat than mimics. Mimics, I feel like, are kind of getting diffed. Hosts are a massive problem. But a problem that I don't think would kill the Na'vi. Now, again, over generations and generations, you might have a couple people here, a couple people there getting infected, and you might end up with a whole tribe getting infected, and that could be a big issue, because then they could try to infect other tribes. But again, I don't think that could happen, but that is a possibility. There's basically jack shit mimics can do. These guys actually pose a threat, even though I think these guys, the host of influence, probably won't, be able to take on all the Na'vi. Thank you, fellow Baseball Joes, for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and do you think these ecosystems could collide? Do you think mimics would be an issue for the Na'vi? Do you think the host would or wouldn't be an issue? Do you think Na'vi would keep trimmings as pets? What do you think? Please make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you later.